Looking to make your next move? You're in the right place. Welcome to LifeSpeaks, the podcast that dives deep into real stories, big ideas, and life-changing insights. This episode is proudly brought to you by Chaffin Real Estate Services, ready to find your dream home or maximize your rental income. Visit chaffinrealestate.com or call 775-575-5000 today.
Hi, my name's Lee Anne Chaffin, and I am excited today to have this episode with my guest, Sean and Stephanie Teeter. Some of you may remember the Davis Creek fire, and just about a year ago, right? Just about a year ago. So we're going to be sharing that story today, and I'm honored to have them here. I'm going to kind of introduce why they're here. Sean is a son of one of my very good friends, Kathy Bowman, and it's so crazy. Stephanie just happens to be a sister of one of my very close friends, Jen.
Yes.
And I'm going to mess up her name, so I won't say her last name. Frischting.
Yes.
So I knew I was going to mess it up. So on that day, and what day was that?
September 7th.
September 7th, 2024, in about I would say 30 seconds, I got a phone call from Kathy. Please pray for my son's family's house is either on fire or they're being evacuated. It was one of those. And then 30 seconds, I got a text from Jen saying, please pray for my sister and her family. They are being evacuated, and I'm like, head spinning, like I know two people that have two separate situations, and then all of a sudden I realized it was the same couple. And so here you guys are, almost a year later, and I just really am grateful that you're sitting here and you're willing to share your story. My family was affected by the Paradise Fire years ago, and by the grace of God, they didn't lose their house, but everybody on their street lost their home. So, and it was a rental, so it was just like one of those God moments that was protecting, them specifically because they didn't have a lot of money and it was not a good situation. But everybody's safe and has made it through and still living in that house. It's crazy. So that day, September 7th, can you tell me about the day of the fire?
Sure. It started as a normal Saturday for us. So we live on 5 acres of mostly undeveloped rock with a little bit of dirt.
A lot of sage.
I love that.
Right on the side of Slide Mountain. And so we spend most of our weekends working on the yard. And the summer of 2024 was spent building a road around the small orchard we have. Like I said, it's mostly rock, so you can probably get 20, 30 feet in a Saturday with, just me and a tractor and my wife and my kids who love moving rocks, I'm sure.
It is Nevada.
Correct.
Isn't that the national flower
grow,
or something?
yes.
Yeah.
We
Yes,
grow
and we
rock.
grow lots of them.
Yes.
I paint rocks. You grow rocks, yeah.
Usually, it was soccer season, so Isabella had a soccer game all the way in Spanish Springs at 3 o'clock that afternoon, but she was sick, so we did not go to the soccer game, praise God, because we wouldn't have been home when the fire started. We worked out in the yard until about 1:30, came inside and had some lunch, took a shower, and we were actually about to go sit down and turn on a movie and probably take a nap. When I got a text from a friend of mine at about 2:30
2:35 or so.
that said, hey, it looks like there's a fire out by you. Is that anywhere close? And so we opened the curtains and took a look, and it was probably 1.5 miles, 2 miles away at that point.
Right.
We could see it peeking up over the ridge, and God definitely put it on my heart that it was time to go.
Wow.
So I
And they didn't have the evacuation orders yet?
No, there was no
No.
evacuation. The fire had actually started like 2:19, I think is
right
when-
around 2:20 they say it started. Or at
And
least that's when the
that
call
was the
came
first
into
report.
emergency.
And so this was 2:35. So this was 10, 15 minutes after the fire had started. And it was that's already probably 1.5 miles, 2 miles from where it started
Yeah.
in that short amount of time. The wind was blowing pretty good, as it does in Washoe Valley. But it was, I think we were hitting 80-mile-an-hour winds that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the time, I want to say the winds were probably blowing east.
Yeah, it
So it
seemed
was
like
kind of precautionary. He's like, hey, we need to go, but
we live north
Yeah.
of Davis Creek, and the wind was mostly blowing east. It was blowing hard east, but we're uphill, and so the safety. And we live down a half-mile dirt road that's one way in and one way out. So when there's a fire, it's always been our policy, I guess, that we don't stick around because there's only one way out, and if we get cut off,
Right.
then,
Oh, yeah.
then we're cut off. So, so we said, yeah, let's pack it up and go. And the funny thing is, our girls are adopted, and part of being a foster parent is you have to have a fire plan and you have to practice your fire plan.
Okay.
And so we actually had a fire plan, and the girls knew exactly what to do.
Wow.
And so
we had a fire bag.
We had-
all of
yeah,
our
we had a
Social
bag ready
Security
to go.
cards, our titles to our vehicles. Any document you would need in an emergency was packed and ready to go.
So, and that's, like you say, that's a God thing.
Yeah.
God had everything established for us.
I'd really
so
like
that we
to
knew
have a
what to do.
list of what you guys packed, and we could put that in the comments,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
And actually, Truckee Meadows Fire actually has a
link.
go bag. Yeah, they have a
They have a
really
go
great
bag.
list that's
Okay.
like, here's your go bag.
Okay.
And, we got documents and we got computers. Sean and I,
We didn't pack anything.
we didn't pack anything for ourselves.
The clothes
I
on our
made sure the
backs.
kids had a backpack and you got shoes and we got the dogs. And we looked at our room. I think we grabbed Bibles and a camera
Yep, that was it.
and
your phones.
our phones.
yeah.
And we said, okay, we're out, thinking we're going to evacuate.
I was like,
we're
it's
going to be
not-
back in
it's-
about a
we'll be
day.
back.
Worst
It's
case,
not
we got to
that
stay
bad.
the night at my sister's, but we'll be back.
Yeah.
I don't need to grab medicine. I don't need to grab glasses. I don't need to grab clothes.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
So
goodness.
yeah, we could get into lessons learned. There's a
Right.
list of
Lot of
things,
lessons
mistakes
learned.
we made.
Oh.
But all in all,
Yeah.
God directed our path that day.
Right.
So we loaded everybody in the car,
Dogs, everybody.
and Steph looked at me and says, "Should I follow you in the truck?" I said, "Nah, I don't think it's actually going to come up here, and I want us to be together. I don't know where we're going to go. We didn't even know exactly where we were going to go at that point.
Right, right.
And so I said, no, I just want us to all be together. So we got in the car, and as we left, we prayed.
It was 2:45. It took us 10 minutes.
Yeah, we were
up and out of the
within
house.
10 minutes. We were out of the house.
Yeah.
Wow.
But by the time we were leaving, we couldn't even see. Like the smoke was so thick. The fire was still.
Yeah, it was moving. And to get away from our house, you have to go down into the valley, down by the Chocolate Nugget. And the smoke was in the valley at that point. It was filling up around the Chocolate Nugget. And,
It creates its own weather
Yes.
also. That's
Yes.
what's very
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
and so you could tell just by the other traffic on the road that people were
Yeah.
freaked out.
Yeah.
It was not a normal drive through Washoe Valley like it usually is, or through Pleasant Valley. And so we headed north and went to her other sister's house, not Jen, Melissa.
Called our neighbor on the way out because he's an older gentleman, lives on the property next to us. Hey, there's a fire. Do you need help? And he's like, did you get an evac notice? We're like, well, no, there's a fire. So we sent him a picture of the fire from the back porch, and he was like, yeah, I'm okay. I said, okay, well, we're out. So if you need something, let me know. And yeah, that was about 2:45. We bugged out.
And then we went to her younger sister's house and stayed there and just kind of to see what would happen next.
Yeah.
Is it real close to?
They live in
Damani
Damani
Ranch.
Ranch.
Oh, Damani
Yeah.
Ranch. Oh, yeah.
So
That's
far
close,
enough away.
Close enough.
But yeah.
They're like just after 3, I want to say 3:05 or so.
Yeah, we got a text from,
And
or no, we
then-
got the evac.
We got the evac order at 3:21
Yeah.
came through, and they called and said, get out now. And then our neighbor called us at
Like
5 minutes
2 minutes
later.
after that,
Yeah.
And he said the fire is in your orchard and it's in my backyard and it's rattling the windows on the garage.
Flames were 100 feet in the air.
Yeah.
He couldn't see, he couldn't breathe. He didn't take any of that time to gather his stuff. he just kept working because he was in his garage, but had enough time to get in his car.
And go.
Said he almost didn't make it out
Oh my
because of the
God.
way our road goes. It goes up and then you kind of backtrack and then back, and he was headed towards the fire and then out.
Oh my God.
So
So at
praise
that
God,
point,
he got out.
that point we
Yeah.
thought, well, we
Praise
better have a more permanent plan than what are we going to do for the night?
Right.
And her sister Jen
Mm-hmm.
had a pool party at their house that night with a bunch of people. So we didn't want to kind of bombard that party. So we waited, told them we'd probably be there around 8, I think is what we said. We'd probably be there around 8 that night.
And then they killed Power into
They,
Monty
they
Ranch.
killed Power into Monty Ranch.
Oh,
and,
you're kidding.
and we said, you know what, let's just go because we don't need the hectic.
Yeah, we didn't need the panic traffic trying to get to
Yeah.
Sparks.
So we loaded up the dogs, and we had contemplated leaving the dogs with her younger sister, who has dogs. Her older sister Jennifer does not have dogs, and that's a big imposition to put on people. We have 2 very big dogs.
I like
Harry.
your dogs. They were very nice.
Yes, we love our dogs, but they are they
They're
have a
our
lot of
dogs.
hair, and,
Yeah.
and for people without dogs, they can be a bit much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had thought about that, but in the end, you got to keep your family together, and so that was what we decided to do. And we went out there and stayed the night, and then by the morning, our neighbor snuck back up there. Well, he got permission from the fire department to go back up and look, and he sent us pictures. There was absolutely nothing left.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
A chimney.
There was
We
a
had the
chimney. We
left.
had a standing chimney and one
And
wall.
you had an
Yeah.
RV also, right?
Yeah, the RV.
Yeah, RV. The tractor was there.
Yeah,
both
tractor.
sheds we lost. Like 3 trailers. 1 tractor.
Yeah, so
Was good.
when we bought the house in 2020,
Yeah.
right before COVID, and it had a tractor on the property when we bought it. It was an old 1953 Ford NAA, which is a great tractor, but doesn't have a backhoe, so we needed something more. So we had actually bought a Kubota tractor. The Ford, the fire ended up burning the back half of the tractor, the tires and all that, but the front half of the tractor still had pine needles in the bucket and fuel in the gas tank.
What?
Fire is a funny thing, and
Yeah.
we've learned a lot about that. Fire is a very funny thing. It went
Yeah.
around our propane tank and didn't touch that.
Praise God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Wow.
had one dump trailer that it
Yeah,
didn't touch.
went right
Still
around
works
it.
great.
You could literally see the burn scar, how it just
went right around
serpentined
it.
around and then met back up on the other side of where that tractor was and just burned up and down the hill along the freeway. Crazy. It's
Yeah.
just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our neighbor,
Yeah.
he left his truck on the property. It burned 1 quarter panel, but he drove the truck the next day, drove it out of there.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Backhoe was fine. His truck
Yeah.
was fine. RV, I think, was okay. He had a little,
He
just cute
had a
little camper.
Our
just-
RV was completely gone except for the spare tire, which looked pristine. There was
Yeah.
nothing wrong with the
It burned
spare
the
tire.
plastic cover off the tire and left the tire
That is so.
on the frame,
Yeah.
which was amazing.
Well,
but,
yeah. God
yeah.
knew you needed a tire for your next truck. I don't know.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I guess that was the events of the day.
Yeah.
By the morning, we knew that it was gone.
Right.
And so then it was, what's the plan now? And just the immediate outpouring of people that wanted to help. I think that's what floored me most. When you lose everything, it's hard to really wrap your head around, but we were safe, and at no point were we scared.
But there's still a grieving of
Yeah.
the loss of
Yes.
things that even your glasses.
Yes.
I mean, okay, I've lost my keys before and I've lost my wallet before, and that's a whole fun thing. But to lose everything,
Yes.
and you're just going, where do we start? How do you eat an elephant
Right.
Yeah.
one bite
Right.
at a time?
Right.
And yes, thank God, and that's really the focus is thank God you were safe. Thank God you got out when you did, because it could have been a whole different story,
Yeah. Had we waited for the evac order, there's no way. If it was when he left and we got the evac order at 3:21, there's no way we would have made it out of the house.
Well,
So-
and if we'd have been at the soccer game,
Right.
there's no way we would have got our dogs. There's no way
Oh,
we would
yeah.
have, you know.
What kind of dogs do you have?
We have a Husky Shepherd mix,
Okay.
and we have a Husky Lab mix.
Yeah.
The older one is a Husky Lab.
Yeah, I remember when I went over there, I got to see the animals. I'm attracted to big dogs, though, but my husband won't let me have one. I want to have a Bernese, but we won't go there. So, were there any lives lost that you knew of up in that area?
I don't believe so. I don't
No
know.
lives.
Were
I
any
think
pets?
the final no
I don't think even
no
any
pets.
pets.
I think I know the Ranger family was actually on vacation, so they weren't home, and that was the first house lost. I want to say there were a total of 16 structures, 13 homes. Of those, 3 of them were outbuildings or big, like there's a big water tank up behind Chocolate Nugget. They lost their control building
okay.
that they had.
But the chocolate nugget was fine.
No,
That
so
was an amazing story.
Yeah, they had just cleared some land for like an event space behind the Chocolate Nugget, so it was good and clear, and so the fire department was able to set up right there,
And they dug in
and they were able
at the
to
fence.
push the fire.
You're kidding.
So really, the
amazing.
Chocolate Nugget saved everything to the north
Yes.
of them in Washington
Wow.
Valley because they were able
And they
to stop
opened
the
it up
fire
for
there.
free chocolate?
No, but we go as often as we can.
We love. I mean, not just because their chocolate's great, but we love the Chocolate Nugget. They're great people down there. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. I like that place. That's amazing. Well, that's so good that nobody died because then the Paradise Fire people couldn't get out.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And I think it was 60 some.
Yeah,
And who knows what the count is in Maui. I mean,
yeah.
and then Palisades and the one that just happened, I don't know any numbers, but I just know. Here's the thing that was amazing to me is your mom said that Jen said that your insurance had just been upped because you were going to be remodeling your home. You had increased your insurance.
So
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, so we had increased the insurance because my dad was living with us for a little while, and all of his stuff was on our property, and so we had upped the personal coverage for that. And then they did a reassessment of the property.
And
The
increased
insurance
our
itself
coverage
did,
for
and
the
increased our
rebuild.
coverage.
Yeah,
And so, so the way that God puts everything together is it's God is awesome, right? What else can you
Yeah.
say? We had planned on doing a remodel, and then we had drawn up plans and everything, and prices, just with inflation and everything, prices had gone through the roof, and just the money we had was not enough to do a remodel.
Right.
And so we had a contractor lined up, and we had an architect and plans, and
I think we even had approved permit.
Yeah, we had a
through
permit. We even had a
through the
permit.
county. Yeah,
and then we had really, I think it was like a month or two before the fire, we had called the contractor and said, "Hey, Jimmy, thanks for everything you've done. We just don't have the money. It's just not going to happen."
yeah. The costs were just getting
Yeah,
out of
because
control.
every time we
couldn't-
looked at costs, it was another 20%. We had plenty of money when we started the plans, and then
Yeah.
by the end, we just didn't. And so he said, nothing's too small for us. So if you ever want to do anything, just give us a call.
Okay.
And so we called him Sunday morning after
Yeah.
the fire.
Oh, I texted him the picture of
Yeah.
the chimney stack.
It said, "Hey, Jimmy,
standing.
how do you feel about a rebuild?"
A rebuild instead of a
Wow.
remodel. Yeah.
And he said, after I'm so
Initial
sorry
shock.
for you and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, he said, "We do insurance rebuilds all the time. We
Yeah.
know exactly
Wow.
what has to
He's
happen." He said, "We'll meet
Totally
you out there and get
experienced
ready."
with fire. Yeah.
And so he sent us to his architect. Within a week, we were sitting down with the architect, and he's, "Tell me what your dream home is." And
Oh, wow.
I have no idea.
yeah, we had never thought
We're
about a dream home.
rehabbers. So like
we're rehabbing.
I walk into something that exists, and then I can tell you how we're going to change it to get it to a point to start from nothing. That was not anything I could wrap my brain around.
You
Yeah.
needed
So-
to start watching real estate
Yeah,
shows.
I said, I'll tell you what we didn't like about the house.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what we had that we had hoped to get to. And then when he sent plans over, I'm like, okay, now my teeth can get into it. Now I can. I would not have been able to come up with that. That's why he's the architect. So
He designed an amazing home for us.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll talk more about that in the next episode because I really want to get into that because
Yes.
I can fantasize about stuff like that. But one of the questions is, what would you want people to know to prepare for something like this, and what would they do if it happens? I mean, we can't fathom it.
Right.
You had a fire plan, but most people don't even have a plan to get out of bed.
Right.
I mean, really,
Right.
coffee is the first thing we think about, and we're so spoiled as Americans, and we just
Yeah.
are. So, kind of share if you were to just give a heart-to-heart to somebody who's
Yeah,
having,
you can't prepare for losing everything.
Yeah.
There's no.
can't buy two of everything.
There's just
to put in a box.
And even at it,
right
all just ends up burning up anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I had brand new tools that I never got to use because we were
getting ready to remodel.
We remodel,
Yeah.
we do things, so. But yeah, I would say it's important to know the things that are important.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
You know-
People talk about, I'd grab my pictures. No, wait.
Yeah,
Am I sad we lost that stuff? Absolutely. There's, but you can't take away that experience for me. My girls don't have anything to look back on, but I walked out the door with paperwork that initiated us being able to start our lives again. We had neighbors for months after that are still fighting because they don't have any physical evidence of who they are and what they own and all these things.
Like the go bag is utmost importance.
Yeah, the
You gotta
paperwork go bag.
Have your titles to all your vehicles, including trailers and all that stuff. Have all the titles. If anything's, if you have anything that's on loan still, have the loan paperwork. Have all of that.
Passports, social security cards,
passports.
medical stuff. And I had them, we have file cabinet, and they were just in very specific. And I knew
Files.
We had
they
our,
were
our
all
very
kept up
important.
front, and I knew what to grab, what to shove in my bag with my computer. And we had practiced, like he had said, because of Child Protective Services when we were foster parents. And the kids knew what to do. So everybody could separate. And it was something we had to practice, and we had a meetup spot. And then we had a backup meetup spot. So everyone was to meet at the car. You're in charge of this dog. You're in charge of this dog. And they had tasks. And we practiced it because you had to. You had to have a drill thing. And then, if say the garage is on fire, we're going to meet up here, and everyone's going to walk out together. And so we'd practice that. Because in that moment, when I heard Sean's tone, and it went from, maybe we should go. And then he turned and looked at me again and said, honey, we got to get out. And I know that's when God really spoke to him that we had to go. You don't think, like, we practice this 1,000 times. You go into pure motor memory. And so I knew to go downstairs, and I grabbed the computer, and I looked at the power cord. I almost didn't grab the power cord. I mean, you just, little things, you're not logic. But I grabbed it. I threw it in there. He ran down the stairs and said, did you grab the passports? And I
The
said,
passports
no.
are usually in the very important file.
Correct.
But we had pulled them out to go somewhere,
We
and
were
I
getting
just
ready
threw
to
them
go
in
to
the
Mexico.
safe instead of putting them back in the very important file.
Yeah.
And so I knew they weren't in there, and I said, did you grab the passports? And she said, no. And I went, okay, I'll grab them. And I grabbed my computer, and I walked back upstairs and left the passports in the safe.
Yeah.
By the way, safes don't stop a fire. It doesn't-
Safes don't
There's
protect
no-
anything.
There's no fireproofing anything. Oh my goodness.
There was nothing left in our safe.
No, it was
Wow.
ash.
Yeah.
If there was gold bars there, though, wouldn't you have
There
some
was
melted?
there was a
puddles.
pile of puddle of aluminum in the bottom. There was, some ammo that had exploded, things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But there was nothing paper survives a fire,
Yeah. Wow.
even in a safe.
Well, the insulation of the safe had completely.
Even the everything was
Degraded.
Wow.
Yeah.
The fire department.
Well,
laughed.
passports can be recreated. Thank
Yes,
goodness.
which we got them very quickly.
But I had what was funny, what was in that important document file was all the paperwork we used to apply.
Yeah, all the
and
receipts,
all
the
of the
birth
photos
certificates.
and all the everything. And so all it was just paying the extra fee to get it quick. And
that's
then
good.
turning over what we had already turned in.
So the go
yeah.
bag list would be something that would be really important for people.
Yes. Yes.
So that would be something, you said it's Truckee Meadows.
The Truckee Meadows Fire has a checklist.
Yes.
Checklist. Okay. All right. So
And
that's
they've got good reminders like medicine, glasses, all the things we failed at. And they even say to have a set of 2 or 3 nights worth of clothes packed in a bag. I think if you're in a high fire prone area, that would be a good idea. But for us, like we had enough time. We had probably more time than we gave ourselves.
We had more time than most
pack,
people do.
We just didn't.
That's a good.
But you didn't really know. I mean, that fire was
we
moving
had no
so
idea.
fast.
But if
Right.
someone's banging on your door and says, get out now, if you had a go bag, that's what those go bags would be great for.
Okay. Okay. So you said the important stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what in your mind's eye now
So the
is
things
important?
The things that are irreplaceable are not the things that are worth a lot of money. Shockingly enough, we had a grandfather clock from Germany that we got when we lived there. That's irreplaceable, but it's not. Well, you could go back to Germany and get another grandfather clock. But the pictures of my grandpa are gone forever.
Yeah.
The things like that, shockingly, those are the things that you miss the most because you can never get those back.
Right.
We actually replaced the cuckoo clock that we had. We had a cuckoo clock, and we replaced it as a Christmas present. So those are the things before the fire that I thought was irreplaceable, right? The cuckoo clock or the things we got in Germany. And it turns out they're not. But the things that are like the picture that you took with your daughter, on adoption day.
Right.
Those things are gone. And now that's less because everything's digital nowadays, right? Everything's a digital photo. But yeah, the hard copies of stuff, we had a cookbook that had all the family recipes, that's obviously never coming back.
Right.
So it's important to know that because the way I think about it is you've got stages of the fire emergency, right? You can be one of those people that they knock on your door and say, you have to leave right now.
Right.
So that's your go bag, right? Then there's the people that were like us that we probably had 20 to 30 minutes that we could have taken some time to really gather stuff, right? And if we had known the things like the pictures that we can't replace, if we had known that, we probably would have grabbed some of those things. Maybe not all of them, but we would have grabbed a few of them. And then there's the people that you're going to get an evacuation order and you've probably got time. And then you can prioritize, okay, I'm going to clear out the gun safe and I'm going to clear out, those things.
Or the safe in general.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Anything in the
Everything
safe is going to be burnt up, just
Yeah.
assume.
Yeah. We had birthday gifts.
So Delilah's birthday is in September. So this was September 7th. So we had all of her birthday presents in the safe ready for her birthday. And
Gosh.
that's where they ended up.
Yeah.
So, I would think if you're preparing for a fire, and I think everybody should prepare for a fire, as we saw the Palisades, and, you can be in the middle of a city and lose your home to a fire.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you should have kind of predetermined in your mind what those tiers of importance are, right?
Right.
What's the things you have to leave the house with? And that's your go bag with your titles and all that stuff. What's your priority things that if you've got some time, what are you going to grab, And then if you've got a day to plan, what are the things you're going to pack up? You're going to spend some time to pack up and take with you, The other big thing to remember is that even though you practice fire drills and tell your kids that they need to pack a bag, they're not going to pack things that
They're not going to pack what they
need.
actually need. Yeah. I think one of them grabbed all of her favorite scrunchies and her pair of Nike shorts. And I said we didn't grab chonies, socks, shirts, pants. Well, no. And you're in flip-flops. Okay. And we didn't grab a toothbrush. We didn't, because they have little travel bags.
Exactly.
Yeah, we didn't pack any of that
Grab
stuff.
my favorite stuffy. Okay.
Yeah.
No clothes? No toothbrush? Okay. High five. So, yeah.
Yeah. So people, you said that it was overwhelming. People came to you. what were the things that were useful they were bringing? What were the things that you'd probably go, really, thanks, but no thanks?
Yeah, so everybody wants to help, number one. And the importance of having a community around you can't be emphasized enough. We had a massive community that we didn't even know we had that was there for us. Everybody wants to help, and you are so overwhelmed and really in shock that there's no way to even tell them how to help.
Yeah, exactly.
We were at a point where people had to kind of tell us we needed to eat. We forgot for 2 straight days to eat. You're just numb. I don't know.
Well, you're numb. And
you're numb, zombie. I don't know how else to describe it.
I have to call every single thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and I spent probably
you spent a week on the phone.
a week on the phone, 10 to 14 hours a day, just back-to-back calls of insurance company or, canceling waste management, and then you're sobbing. Hi, my house just burned down. Excuse me for 5 minutes while I sob and try to explain what I need from you.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had
the helpful things were my mom called and said, I'm coming to pick up the girls and take them shopping.
Yeah.
The unhelpful is, what can I do to help? I have no idea what you can do to help.
Yeah.
But what's super helpful is just somebody that takes charge of things like that come in and say, you guys need a break. Your kids need a break. I'm going to take them to the movies.
Yeah.
You know, or things like that.
Your mom's good like that.
Yeah, Kathy was brilliant like that. Or just she took the girls shopping. She wanted to have a girls' day, but then knew we had no clothes. And so showed back up with jeans for him, jeans for me, hoodies. And just overwhelming. Matt and Amy that showed up. So we have these friends that we met in Germany over 25 years ago. Best friends for life, as always, because they're soldiers. But haven't seen them in 20 years.
Yeah, at least 15. Yeah.
And they're back east, Kentucky, Tennessee area, traveling around now. But just showed up, parked their camper at the house, at Jen's house where we're staying, and we're just physically there. Talking to the girls, talking to us, kind of being like, hey, you guys should go do this. And then drove us up to the house when we had been able to get back in there and stood there with shovels and gloves and dug through the ashes with us. Because it's hard with the kids. I mean, it's hard enough just us, but it was hard with the kids.
Right.
And they were having their own huge sense of grief and loss. And so to get through, and it became fun with them because Matt is such a scavenger, which I adore about him. But he's like, woohoo, I found like half of a handle of a pot. But we had hope the first time we went up there, but the house had gotten to be 3,000 degrees. The fire
they say it was
department
at least 3,000 degrees because we had steel beams in the basement holding the top floor up. And those were completely
Twisted
bent
and
and
bent.
twisted. So they said it had to be over 3,000 degrees to do that to
Yeah.
steel. Plus, the safe was brittle from the fire.
They picked it up for us and tried to put it in the front yard, and it disintegrated on the outside of it.
That's crazy.
But yeah, just
so many
stuff
clothes.
like that.
We got so many clothes.
So many clothes. Well, we had intentional clothes. Like someone said, what size are you? Whatever you. The unhelpful was that I've had this bag of
Goodwill that I forgot
Goodwill
to take
in
to
the back
Goodwill.
of my car. Let me go drop it off at their house. And I'm pulling out onesies and one dirty sock and a half a pair of dirty this. And I'm like, I don't think that this is what they meant to give us.
Yeah.
Which was fine because actually we ended up, we became kind of a point of contact to pass
some
out
of the other
clothes to other
families.
people,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
Yeah.
really important.
So, even though the clothes were nothing we could use, it was easy to take them and say, hey, I know the Ranger family especially, they lost everything and didn't have much,
And he had 3 younger girls. And
so they were able to use some.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really good.
And there's a local Ashley's Toy Closet. They were incredibly helpful. They did the same thing kind of like your mom did. We're like, no, you come. We're like, we don't need anything. They separated parents from kids. And they took the girls into the truck. And they were like, you're not allowed to leave until you find 10 things. And the only thing in the truck was like stuff they'd care about. a Stanley Cup,
Makeup
a curling
stuff.
iron, a makeup box,
That's amazing.
And Sean and I are looking at cleaning supplies, and I'm like, okay, a blanket, and chonies and socks, and okay, all the, I'm doing the mom thing, and Sean's just like, the dog food and the dog bowls and the things you don't think about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to end this episode and we're going to continue on. And I just want to thank you guys so much for being here. And we're going to continue on with your story. Thank you.